All right. I'm gonna read each one. We're just gonna go through it, each one by one. I'm gonna read it for the camera, and then whoever thinks they got it figured out really did a good job with each one. Just say how you dug deeper, how the gospel's good news for each one. So grab a seat. All right. Number 1, Jacob. Where's Jacob? Hey, Jacob.
Freshman.
He's a freshman who jumps into your life group after first 5. After a few group times, he shares that he struggles a lot with the anxiety in regards to his schoolwork. His parents have told him for years that he has to make straight A's, and even admits that he thinks he'll be a failure and unloved if he doesn't. So how is the gospel good news for Jacob? What's he actually dealing with?
Approval.
Okay, so walk us through the digging deeper chart, what idols he's working with, and maybe share a verse that's good news for him.
So, what sin, issue, or feeling are you dealing with? Feels like he's going to be a failure and unloved if he doesn't make straight A's. Or I guess that would be the belief about self, that he's a failure and he's unloved. I'm not sure. Would the placing failure and unloved be placed under the
Well,
belief about
they can
himself?
overlap. So his problem might be already that his belief about self. That is the problem.
Yeah. And then the belief about God is that God will not love him if he doesn't make straight A's. But what the gospel truth is that, again, we can't do anything to make God love us any less. And the truth about self is that he is loved and that he isn't a failure just because he doesn't do well in school. And then the new action and feeling, hopefully, is that he doesn't feel like he's a failure, but he's not.
Good.
Yeah, so that would be, like we said, approval, idolatry on the deep idol chart, and then a great verse for that would be Ephesians 1, 4 through 7. Even as he chose us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and blameless before him. In love, he predestined us for adoption to himself as sons through Jesus Christ, according to the purpose of his will, to the praise of his glorious grace with which he has blessed us in the beloved. In him we have redemption through blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses, according to the riches of his grace.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody add anything to that one or go a different direction when you're working through it?
It's cool. That was great work. That was right on.
Sebastian.
Thanks, Sab.
Yeah.
All right.
Mike.
Number 2, Mike. Also, caveat. Just because there's guy or girl names doesn't mean they're just a guy issue or a girl issue. They overlap. You can exchange the names. I think you will all deal with things similar to this, regardless if it's a guy or girl. So,
Is Mike a boy's name?
Mike is a boy's.
Unisex, actually.
Yeah.
Depends on who you are.
So Mike, he joins your life group after you get his number at first week. He says he's been a Christian for a few years, but is in a bad relationship. Says his girlfriend Lauren is so annoying and always bothering him.
Freaking Lauren.
One week he finds out that Lauren cheated on him with his friend Bob. It's wild. He freaks out. He confesses during life group that he's broken 3 phones in 2 weeks from anger outbursts, and afterwards he looks at porn immediately.
Who is
What
buying these
is
phones?
Mike really dealing with?
Paying for these phones.
Not Mike, let me tell you. I mean,
I think this covers the whole board, but I mainly attacked the power idol here, as what I think the surface idols kind of reveal that he's trying to compensate for the power by regaining some control, in terms of just how he's processing the anger and how he immediately goes to pornography, trying to control the emotions that he lost, and that sense of like power he lost when she like just went with Bob. He was like, wait a minute. And as far as this goes, he doesn't believe that God has power or that he's in control. And I just kind of went to John chapter 19, verses 28 and 30. where Jesus is dying on the cross, and yet he's fulfilling Scripture, showing that like he has the power on the cross, but at the same time he releases that control. And beforehand, when he's in the garden, he's like, "Not my will be done, but your will." He's offering that up to God, just like Scripture's been fulfilled, it's all been dealt with. And just because of that, like, he's not going to be able to fix it. Like, I can't fix it for him. But that wasn't the decision that Lauren made. Was not a reflection of who he is necessarily as a person. It was just the nature of maybe something she was going through, and that he has no power over that, but God has it completely.
Yeah.
That's good. Anybody else add to that?
Yeah, man.
One thing we talked about too is on a practical level, like just being with him. And I know that's something we say and throw around a lot, but like the type of emotions that he's experiencing, like it's just not good to feel and walk through that stuff by yourself. So you can remind him of all the gospel truth around him, but it's important to just be there with him and like help him walk through his feelings.
Yeah.
And be open to like whatever he wants to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
it's probably the first thing in that situation is a good thing. You're going, hey, I know you were in sin, and you know, a lot of this was based on your act. You could still say, dude, that sucks, man. I'm really sorry.
Sorry.
I hate that. I hate that you feel this way. I know. I'm sure that this is bad.
Here, take
Need a new phone case.
Yes.
I need your phone
Let me
case.
hold your phone. We need like a really strong phone.
Have you heard Otterbox?
Yeah, so one of the things that like I agree with all of that, because what I was reading in that is I took it as kind of like this isn't the first time he's been in my group. He's been for a while. This is like 1 week he finds out, meaning like he's been for a while before that happened. So there's obviously kind of like what he was saying. He might feel like alone or trapped in a relationship, which is weird because usually people with power, we don't feel trapped. We're very just kind of like don't do and go. There's obviously kind of like some kind of like comfort or something there, or being lazy where he wants to stay in it for some reason, because he was fully aware that it was a bad relationship because he finds her annoying and she was bothering him.
Sure.
So it's kind of like he might feel alone, but like he has no one else to go to.
Yeah.
And the truth is that is like, you know, Christ is always there for him. Christ always loves him.
Yeah.
And then you find scripture to be like, you know, it's okay if you have your bad day. It's okay if you feel this way. Like, we're there for you. Christ's there for you. And obviously address his feelings and like
Yeah, absolutely. So this is not a foolproof rubric, but just a general idea. Power people, kind of the difference between power and control. Power wants to control people. It tends to be about people. Control is situation. So it's like, so just look for that. It's like school's not going the way I want. Like if, and he even talks about it here on the Deep Idols, worry versus anger. And so watching that habit of like, I'm just worried about school. All right, there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of anxiety. Not always, but that's probably a control idol to where power is angry. It's like, no, I'm angry at this person. This person is off. And it's like, maybe they're not fulfilling your power idol the way you want them to. And so that's just, can get convoluted. But those are kind of the differences.
And there's a level with a lot of these, and just people in general, that they have more than one deep idol. So
Absolutely.
There's some discernment training of just what's your deep idol? All of the above. I have all of them. So what just happened is good. Of yes, he is dealing with power and control. He is also dealing with comfort and approval. It hurts to be cheated on. I feel rejected. I'm also grieving the lack of comfort I had from this relationship where I felt safe.
Well, okay, so like one of the things that like stood out to me in this was that little sentence where he's like, my girlfriend is so annoying, and like it's always bothering him, and like I think what you were just saying, like power wants to control people. I think that's probably why that's in there, if you would agree. just that she's not fulfilling this the way he wants her to.
Right.
Like
good.
that,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of
Reading the cues and looking at people is the point of this and growing in discernment. All right.
Do we want to walk through everyone ourselves? Just to find out.
Nah, I think
Okay,
this is
great.
good.
Cool.
All right, number 3, Josh. He joins your life group during the first week. He also has a girlfriend named Donna.
Donna.
He met her on Tinder.
Just so we're clear, you're meeting all these people during first week. These are the 10 numbers. Just,
Be ready.
these are the problems you're picking right now. Like this is what's gonna happen.
What? Just real quick before I get your number, what's your girlfriend's name? Donna?
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
Santa's got this tailgate.
All right. So Josh shows up to group time,
Phones or what's going on?
and he tells you that he had sex with Donna a few times over the course of the summer, but that it was when they first started dating, and they have since set up boundaries and have only struggled physically once or twice since then. Josh doesn't think that it was a big deal and feels confident that they have a healthy relationship now.
Struggled physically.
Struggled physically.
I love the clarification.
Sounds pretty healthy to me.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I didn't.
Number 4, Kim Jordan. No,
All right.
Green light.
How are we speaking into Josh? What's Josh need?
I want some from the ladies group.
Okay.
Sound exciting.
Thanks, guys. Okay. So we were saying that like the deep idol that we really like got from this situation was comfort, because it seemed like to us that he was just kind of like apathetic towards the whole situation, just like, yeah, so like we worked it out, so like we're good now. Probably like, you know, don't worry about it. And so like working through the chart, we said like there were like a few different sin issues, but maybe just like the feeling that it's like a healthy relationship now, if like even if they haven't really addressed like all the previous issues and things like that. And so like for belief of self, we said what did we say for that one? Oh, we just said this one we were kind of struggling with, but we said that like belief of self, that like maybe it's just too much work, or like not worth it to like try and find something better, or just like too much, like it's not worth the stress to like go through and like address the issues.
Yeah.
Even like the comfort of the relationship.
Yeah.
Relationships are comfortable.
It's good.
And then what we said that reveals like what he believes about God is that he can't find his comfort in Jesus, or like the relationship he has with that, and that like comfort is always a good thing, is what we're saying. So like I guess just like he doesn't think that going through struggles is going to be worth it for Jesus and like his relationship with God. And we just said in the gospel, like we are called to like be uncomfortable sometimes, and then we picked out I think it was Hebrews 4. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. And so just going with that, if you're comfortable, like maybe you don't want to feel that like need or like discomfort. And so that verse just shows you like any time that you need it, like if you're uncomfortable, like Jesus will fulfill that for you. Like you don't have to worry about that. And so then that kind of goes back to the truth of self, like saying it's okay to be uncomfortable, to like address these issues. Like I'm worth that, to like go over those things.
Yeah.
And then the new action or feeling, just feeling that.
Break up.
Well,
Donna gets the boot.
You have anything? That was really good. Yeah.
That's great.
So if after all of this, he's still in the same mindset that I don't think there's a problem with this, I think we're healthy, that I don't really have to work with this, where do you go from there?
Yeah, so Yeah, so guys in my life group know this. This is a party line. I would love if we all adopted this party line. I've struggled with physical boundaries. So I said this a lot, so this is a place where we're all fully known and fully loved. So that's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
What does physical boundaries mean?
Mm-hmm.
And by once or twice, when was the last time it happened? And how frequently does it happen? Because we struggle occasionally could be very different. Like for you, that might mean once every 3 months. And for me, that might mean like 3 times a week. Like
every day.
4 days, we don't do it, and 3 days we do. So, I'm winning. So just get clarity, because there's some reality of we struggled a little bit physically and we had sex. It's so for me, I wouldn't say I was struggled. I would say you just had sex.
Yeah.
And then part of this is discernment. We even talked about this being discernment training. Where is Josh? And so there's a reality of baby Christian, new to life group. Hey man, maybe you should break up with your girlfriend. Josh may not do that, and that is okay. And so we need to, he's probably not doing it. You need to be clear from the beginning of hey man, we're going to love you no matter what. We want you to be around. I don't know if this relationship is healthy with you. And if he does, this is a good clarification in general. This rarely happens in one conversation. Even if he does break up with his girlfriend. Yeah. It's probably going to take a few months of, okay, you think that's good for you? And over time, maybe him starting to see, maybe I shouldn't be dating this person. But you can't change what people do. You can be honest with them, love them where they're at.
That's right. Yeah. Keep walking through that chart with them. Yeah.
I want to hit this again. Language matters just a lot when it comes to confession. I think I have seen it a lot. We have seen it a lot with sexual sin specifically. People tend to couch it in different language. So, yeah, I struggled this week, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And you see it a lot with porn of just, I fell. I've been falling a lot. It's I can remember talking to a friend and just being like, so how many times this week? And he's like, how many days are in a week? Mm-hmm. It's twice a day. It's you don't actually just have a small problem then.
You're owned by this.
You are owned. Your language is distorting the picture, and we need to help people see. We need to get the spotlight on them to help them see and help them live.
Not in a condemning way, but I'm not going to be able to, in premarital counseling, we're if you're lying to me, you're wasting my time. I'm not going to actually be helpful to you if you're not fully bringing me in. One thing, as I was walking through this one, I think it's just a value of believing what God, really it is a belief of what God has for me and has asked us to do in relationships isn't best. So I don't believe that what God has for me is best for me. But when I look to the cross and know that He died for us, and He's given us His righteousness, then I can respond differently. I think, especially in this one, what came to mind is the opposite of having premarital sex is not having premarital sex. The opposite of sin is holiness, not just the inverse. Okay, so great, you're not having sex with your girlfriend anymore, but are you pursuing holiness? Yeah. Okay, so that's really our hope and our goal as we are completely righteous in the sight of God because of Christ. Now, allowing that to fuel our desire to pursue holiness. Are the boundaries set up just to keep us from having to feel bad? Or are the boundaries set up because we actually care about the things of the Lord and care towards pursuing holiness? Does that make sense? I think it's helpful for me to remember the opposite of a specific sin isn't just not doing it, it is pursuing holiness. It's not doing it, usually.
Cool. Let's hop to 4. Good old Kim. Kim joins the life group after attending a few gatherings. In the first few weeks of class, she shares at life group that she and her boyfriend just broke up at the beginning of the semester and she really misses him. She confesses that she doesn't really know what to do since she dated him for so long. And after asking a few more questions, she says, I'm on Tinder now. I've had a few matches. Nothing has worked out yet. I know it will soon, I guess. I'm just kind of waiting for the right guy to come along so life can get started again.
People talk like that. Pretty revealing.
Good question asking.
Yes,
You know,
they did.
you got to the heart. You've already done some work on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Maybe not that
Ladies,
directly.
have you experienced this yet?
I can do it.
Anybody else? Anybody?
Or no, I was just saying I'll do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Molly. Go for it.
Guys, okay, what sin or issue is Kim dealing with? Well, she's dealing with, she thinks that her life cannot because her boyfriend and her broke up. And when she goes on Tinder, that's common too. What does that reveal that you believe about yourself? I think that she believes that her worth and her life was wrapped up in her boyfriend. So, yeah. What does that reveal? She believes about God, that God doesn't fully love her or fully know her, and that she can only be fully loved and fully known in a relationship with a boy. How does the gospel display the truth about God? That God fully knows us and fully loves us in ways that that boys can never. And in the light of what is true about God, what is true about her, maybe that's the same thing. God loves her infinitely, way more than a relationship ever could fulfill her. And how should her actions change? I think after she starts to understand this truth, then she will be able to see that her life still is going on, and that it's not only related to a guy or to a boy, to a relationship.
It's great.
Yeah,
It's right on.
it's good.
Yeah.
You want to add to that?
Go ahead. Her first.
Go ahead, sir.
Congrats, sir.
Catherine and I even went as far as to say encouraging her to delete Tinder and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
an accountability system of saying can we check your phone every once in a while if that's what you feel like? Do you think that you're going to re-download it? Let's just have an honest conversation about what you think this looks like in your life. Do you see it coming up again?
Yeah, I think that's helpful. Many times for us, we might default there first, but if you don't backfill it and go, do you see this as a problem that you go to here? And if they say, no, it's not, then we can't delete it off their phone, right?
Right.
It's a similar thing with guys and pornography, I would say. Well, let me set up some blockers on your phone so you don't go look at porn. For guys, and they're like, okay, you can, but I don't want to not look at it, so I'm not, it's hard, it's difficult for us as leaders because sometimes we care more about, we care more about other people's health than they do, and it's difficult sometimes to let them run into destruction because we can't break up with their girlfriend or their boyfriend for them. We can preach truth in the gospel to them and hope and want them to, but we can't do it for them. Unfortunately, I can't make my guys do the things that I know are going to be helpful and good for them. So that is a little bit of a burden as a leader. Is you're gonna what we've said for a long time. You're gonna say, don't jump off this bridge. Don't jump off the bridge. Don't jump off the bridge. Jump off the bridge. Oh, you jumped. Oh, your leg's broken. All right, I'm coming down there. All right, come here. All right, you okay? All right, leg is broken. Let's go. Let's go. I love you. I wish you didn't jump out of that tree or whatever it is. But that's part of being a leader. A shepherd is going to smell like a sheep, and sheep smell like poop. So sheep smell like sheep. But a good shepherd smells like sheep. And so that is what is going to happen as a leader. You're gonna be in the poop sometimes, and sometimes they're going to keep choosing the poop.
Yep.
Yeah, and so, Jay said it. We've said this already. I'm going to say it again. we are not after behavior modification.
Yeah.
We are after people loving Jesus more and looking more like him. So
Yeah.
that is why this chart is so important, because it is so, we all have the curse of knowledge. This is just a fact. It is so easy for me. I'm on Tinder, I'm doing this. Okay, so we both, it is obvious that you're off here.
Yeah.
It's obvious that you're chasing approval idol. Repentance looks like deleting the app. But I actually don't explain that, and it's not as obvious to them as it is to me. It's like, yeah, of course it's obvious to you. You've been in a life group for 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, you've heard this 1,000 times. They've never heard it. You got to go through it over and over and over again. Also, Alan says this for our staff. No shame, no guilt. We as leaders are not on Tinder. This is like, go ahead, if you're on Tinder, it's fine. Not after today. We're not on Tinder. We don't do it. I don't care about the reason. Not on Tinder. Not happening. So.
If we need to narrate that more one-on-one,
Please come talk to us. We'd love to narrate it.
seriously.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
I think people get there on different ways.
I have to tongue fellowship.
All right, Brody.
All right, Brody joins your life group after attending First 5. He attends often.
Nice.
He is-
Bro, dude.
3 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
He's interested in becoming a member and wants to take the grassroots class. He seems really mature and likable. A couple weeks later at group time, Brody mentions offhandedly that he was drinking at a tailgate with some guys he's trying to build with. His life group leader asks a few more questions and finds out he does this regularly and attends parties frequently. During group time, his leader confronts him with his underage drinking, and Brody defends himself, saying, "I'm drinking responsibly. What's the problem?"
He's right. We're good.
Number 6.
Classic Brody.
Hard one.
Need to join them.
We said that he probably has comfort idol, so his surface sin is he's drinking underage. He seems like he's doing all these other things really well, but in other situations where it's not as easy, he is drinking. And what does that believe about himself? He believes that it's okay to do this as long as I'm doing this. As long as I'm going to church and I'm drinking responsibly and following the surface level rule, then it's okay if I don't follow this rule. And so what does that reveal about God? It reveals about God that God doesn't care if I do this, as long as I'm doing this. It's like I'm trying to like explain something.
Karma.
The truth is, I kind of looked at Matthew, the first verse I looked at Matthew 5:14. You're the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who's in heaven. And then also, like the one that we put on there, Colossians 2. In you who are dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, God made alive together with him, having forgiven our trespasses. So it's like, yeah, no, you're freed up to follow him at all times, and he's called us to a higher level of living. And so that means that we can be set apart from the people around us. We're a light, and sometimes we don't want to be as a 9. I don't want to be a light because it's uncomfortable. Everyone else is looking at me in a dark place. But because of Jesus, we're freed up to be a light in that area.
That's good. I think with underage drinking with Brody, I would say he is also dealing with a lot of approval. So I think whenever there is underage drinking or someone just saying, you know, I was just at this thing, and I mean, other people were doing it, so I did it too. It's like, I think what is actually happening there is I don't want other people to not like me or to think I'm like this person that's really stuck up. Like, and really what it boils down to is I'm afraid of what other people in the room think of me. And we want to encourage them. We just know your identity is in Jesus. He already approves of you. So you get to just say, no, I will not drink. Nothing is going to happen.
Yeah, I want to hear other people's.
Yeah.
Personally, I think something I run into sometimes with friends is like the idea of, like Jesus hung with the sinners and like party with them.
Yeah.
So I think the interesting comment or like line in this paragraph is like he was drinking with some guys he's trying to build with, and so like encouraging him to kind of unpack what that means for him, and like, so you're trying to build with them, but then can you really effectively do that? And I don't think that there is necessarily always a problem being in that environment, but if you can't be in that environment without like trying to fill that need of approval, then there is a problem. Because I think that I've definitely been in a situation sometimes where like I'm in that environment and something really fruitful does occur, but it's like, can you do that with the alcohol in the
Well, another main piece of this is he's not 21.
And he's not 21.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry for me, I was thinking like, it says here like he's gonna be really like mature and stuff like that, and like really like kind of like big, like he's possibly like in his face, stuff like that. So it's kind of ironic because that's kind of like a potential to become leader later on. So I'm like, hey, like this is great. Like, are you building with these guys as like a friendship or like life group or something more? So let's say for this case, it is for like life group or something like that. It's like, hey, this is great, but like, how does that look on you? So like, if you're trying to speak into someone's life and you're like, oh yeah, you shouldn't do this because it's illegal. You're like, well, I see you underage drink all the time. Then it kind of like lessens your testimony, and it kind of like lessens the power of Christ because you're kind of like being hypocritical about it. Which everyone struggles, so it's not like it.
Yeah, and it's like also if your only spaces that you can build in are these parties, how many parties are you going to? That it's like literally I can't invite you to go play frisbee with me or spike ball because we only party together. That's what we're
You're always hungover.
So it's like why can't you invite him to do something else? Like why aren't you taking that next step to really like live life together?
Yeah. Now, anybody else want to add something? Go ahead.
I have a question, and we don't have to get into this right now if you don't want to, but it's kind of related to this. Like I'm 21 and I enjoy alcohol responsibly, and I just wanted to like get from you guys what your expectations are for us who are of age as far as that goes.
Yeah. So let me touch a little bit more. Let's stay in this pocket, and then I'll swing out of that. For Brody, if he's just like, I'm all about Jesus, I'm all about church, I'm all about whatever. It's like, okay, in this action, are you saying Jesus is better than everything? Probably not. In not like a condemning way, but like I see in this action that you're not communicating it at this point. You're not saying that, I care more about what Christ has called us to, and so there's not really a good justification for I'm underage and I'm drinking responsibly. It's like, well, what about the law of the land? Well, I think it's stupid. It's like, well, it's not unjust. Sure, certainly we should disobey laws that are unjust, that are problematic for society and loving people, right? There aren't a lot of those options, and this is definitely not one of them. Of like, I think this is an unjust law. No, it's not. It's a good law, and even if you disagree with it, it is the law of the land that God has given the authority over. And so therefore we're saying, I actually don't trust God. He's not actually trustworthy. If I can't trust, if I can't follow this law, then what I am saying is God isn't trustworthy. If he's not trustworthy at this, then, I know we're not supposed to have sex before marriage, but we're definitely going to get married. We're definitely going to get married. And so we should probably just go. I mean, if I don't trust him here, it's just you just slippery slope on down the line. And God's not the one who's changing, right? We are changing our belief about who God is. So he's like, I don't trust him in that. I don't think he cares about that. Then I don't think he cares about this. I don't think he cares about this. And you're just slowly falling backwards. I think you're right. It's approval and comfort idol. Almost, it's rare that it's like, I just really, really love beer. Like I'm just a beer guy. I love just doing shots. It's just like in my blood. Probably not. Probably not that. So in regards to that, and this is kind of swinging back. I'm glad you asked that question. Swinging back to what we talked about yesterday is the foundation of trust, right? And so we want a foundation of trust in us trusting you guys to make